Hey, what's up, Hope Shot family? Welcome back to our Sunday night lives. But tonight we're going to be doing topics on certain topics that we picked during the week. And tonight we're going to be doing, hold on one second. We're going to be doing the topic on setting healthy boundaries. I'm going to ask Caesar, do you have the clarity statement? I knew you did, bro. Prepared. That's what I'm talking
You know I do.
about.
All right, the Hope Shot clarity statement. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different at times, but we all have one thing in common: recovery as a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. Thank you for being a part of our Hope Shot family.
Thank you, Caesar.
Oh, you're
All right,
so welcome.
guys. So if you're jumping on, let us know you're here. Say hi, that we can shout you out. And also, we got Kelly. Hey, Kelly from the next room.
Kelly from the next room.
She says, "Wake up, Nate." Well, at least he ain't doing the robot moves like usual.
Wait, I'm present. Why is
Dude, you are.
everyone's always saying I look crazy, man?
I said you look fantastic. That was the word I used.
Yeah. So we got Scott on here. What's up, Scott? We got Joe. What's up, Joe? And Josh, man. What's up, Josh? So tonight we're going to let James kick it off. He's James.
Yay! So excited. I just can't hide it.
But the Bucks won.
Yes, the Bucks did win. That's pretty important and good news
I-
to share.
I needed to hear
Okay,
that. That's
so
great.
yes, I know. All right, so the topic is setting healthy boundaries, right? And we kind of talked before about like three areas of our life that we need to set them in and go from there because it's important to set boundaries, right? Healthy boundaries. I think healthy boundaries comes with realistic expectations, right? I know for me, I'm guilty as charged of sometimes putting some unrealistic expectations on people in my life, and it seems like the people that I'm closer to and I create bonds with, my expectation seems to rise and rise and rise, right? And I need to be careful of that on my end. Um, because I say all the time, man, the only time I walk on water is in the shower. You know what I'm saying? And like I need to be forgiven too. Um and I need realistic boundaries put on me because I'm just a simple human, simple-minded human, man. And I've got my defects of characters that can lash out at any point, and it's my friend's job to go ahead and point those out to me when I'm setting unrealistic expectations. So, real quick, I think I want to start with family. Right? We got family, friends, and the workplace we said we were going to talk about, and I'm going to start with family. Um I have to understand that a lifetime process takes a lifetime to do, and I've done a lot of damage out in my history of using, and they might not be caught up to where I am at now spiritually, right? Like the damage I've caused has probably put on a lot of years of not trusting, no honor, no integrity, and it's done some damage in their lives. And what I would say with that, the healthy boundaries I need to set is to not be, how do I say it? To not be, for lack of better terms, threatened by my past. Right? Don't allow my family to throw up the guilt and shame that I have of my past. And I don't care how many times I've worked the steps, how much of my support group, it does not matter. Like, there's always still that little bit there for me, especially with my children. Like, I know my older ones probably had it a lot worse than my youngest one, right? And at times that can be thrown in my face. And what I need to understand and let them know that And it's okay to let my family know that, that's me anymore. I'm sorry that's how you feel. Stay tuned because my story's not over yet. You know what I mean? And it's okay to tell them, I'm sorry you feel that way, but you will not use the past against me. And you need time to heal. I understand. But it cannot be a dagger to me, you know? So I think that's really important for setting that boundary there. Um, letting them know you're not okay with them using your past against you. When it comes to um my friends, I think my realistic expectation, sorry man, I'm trying to think because it's a touchy subject when it comes to friends because, and I'll speak for me, I have a really giving heart, and in the fellowship we are taught to take people in, get them under our wings, right, and make them feel like family and friends. And unfortunately, sometimes there are certain people that I have allowed to be in my life to take advantage of my heart and my kindness, and unfortunately for me, I have to go through these steps process of allowing people to do this to me over and over again before the before the blah, I'm stuck for a word, the word I'm looking for, before the boundary can be set. Unfortunately, sometimes for me, it takes a lot of heartaches before I'm going to say, no more. This ain't happening no more. And what I'm doing, if I can get to that sooner in my life, I find more peace, more joy, more happiness, right? Less resentment, you know. And I think with friends, examples are made from the other people that hurt you to say, hey, you know what? That's not going to happen in my life no more. I think with friends, it's okay to say no. No is a complete sentence, man. You know, I learned this thing about predators, right? When we talk about predators, we think like chomos and people that prey on women, but predators is actually tons of things. Like, are you constantly asking me for money? Are you constantly asking me for this? Are you constantly asking me for a place to stay, food, da da da? Like those things are predatorial behaviors. And it is up to me to go, no, no, I can't help you this time. No, I've already tried to help you numerous times. I'm sorry, you have to take this road for yourself right now. And it's such a healthy, powerful boundary that we can do for our friends, especially those that are trying to get clean or sober or recovering from like whatever that is. The It's okay to let them go down a path. It is not my job to deny them their journey. Okay, and I need to understand that when it comes to my friends, you know, or new friends I'm adding in. Okay, and if we're gonna talk workplace, this is probably where I struggle the most. I obsess with obsession and compulsion. To me, I do own a business, and I don't have an on and off switch. I think about my business from the time I wake up to the time I go down, and realistically, I expect that from the employees, and that's not a fair, healthy boundary, right? Like it's okay for them to clock out. This isn't their baby. It's okay for them to say, James, I'm not answering the phone. It's 8 o'clock at night. I don't care if you have a question, not in a mean way, not in a rude way, but like, dude, th- my employees deserve family time too. Like they deserve quality time at home. I know to me, it just seems like, man, I just got one question for you. Why can't you answer? You know, but I think I can do a better job as an employer of saying, you know what, man, you guys do enough for us. Thank you for your service. Thank you for caring about our company as much as you do. Um, Another healthy boundary I can learn to set that I need to is like, I do need to turn off work for myself. I do have a wife and kids, man. And I was having a conversation with Sponsy, and he's going through some stuff about with his kids and getting his kids and stuff like that. And he's like, man, I only get her so often. And we talked about how many hours a week they were getting the child. And I was like, man, like you're complaining. I don't even see my child that much. Like there's many days, dude. Listen, I could leave at 5:30 in the morning. My child's asleep. There's sometimes I don't get home many nights till 9:30, ripping and running, and like I don't get to see my child. So because of my unhealthy boundaries at work that I've set, because I can't have an on and off switch, I'm losing those quality times too, man. And I'm really glad we're having this conversation because it allows me to reflect on myself. I thought this was going to be more about others. And I'm sitting here with a light bulb going, holy shit, it's really about me. How I can improve and how I can get better. Man, and yeah, I don't want to take all the time. I appreciate you letting me go on first. Um and I'd love to hear the rest of you guys. Thank you guys.
Thank you, James. That was good stuff, man. Um, yeah, those boundaries, man, with ourselves too. Setting good boundaries for ourselves. And people that own a business, those are very hard when you're trying to come up, especially. And I guess I'll just share real quick. So, because I have to jump off what you said, James. The healthy boundaries I have to set with myself because, like, yo, when I got clean at 35 years old. You know what I mean? I have wasted 23 years of my life in my addiction. 23 years, you know? I'm playing catch up over here and it's unhealthy sometimes. Like I want that hurry up and it's like you're addicted to more no matter what you do. So like me coming out of my addiction now, I feel like I need to play catch up. Like I've wasted so much time and try to work on myself and I want to get everything quick, fast, and in a hurry. You know what I mean? I want that fast stuff. And it's just not that way. Yo, this year was the brakes have been pumped on me, you know? And last year I was a nut. I was a freaking mess because I was just go, 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 hurry up. The last couple of years, man, I threw myself into so much stuff that my life can become unmanageable so quick by me saying yes to everything. Saying yes to everything, wanting to do everything, but I can't. I'm only one person. And dude, that ties into my work experience too. My work life is like I feel like, like nobody does it good enough. So I'm taking on all these responsibilities and letting nobody have their own experience as well. And I forget sometimes that's not healthy, by letting other people learn themselves of what they need, what they can and cannot do. People make mistakes, but like I've been doing this so long, it's like clockwork for me. And I don't let them, you know, have their own, and it's a struggle with me with that too. But healthy boundaries with employees too. It's like being late and all that. You know what I mean? Like when they're late or they quit on you and then you want to accept them back, but you're like, no, I can't because they've done it too many times. And that's a hard one too. And then also family, bro. Family is probably one of the hardest ones. I have, family members that are still doing what they do. And it's hard for me to love them where they are sometimes. It's so hard. And I become like not myself, you know? I become not myself. I become unspiritual. I freaking go straight to anger. And I hate when I let myself get like that. Because like I remember what that was like. And if they're ever going to find any path of anything, I need to learn to be loving from a distance as much as I can handle and be okay with where they are. And like, but sometimes it's really hard, and it's hard to like know if the truth is coming out or not, It's like, what is the truth? Is it a lie? And especially when you catch people in lies, like I'm sure that's why my parents and everybody I ever loved never trusted me, is because I was always caught in lies. I'm not a good liar as it is. So, but it's hard for me to take your word seriously when there's so many lies tied into it, So that's something I struggle with, especially in the workplace. I struggle with that too. But this year, like I said, the whole business thing, man, the brakes have been pumped on me. And I feel like, that was a God moment, because like my life is so much more manageable right now with just getting by. You know what I mean? We're just being okay, being simple, being, we pay our bills, we get by, but my life is not manageable. I come home and cook dinner at night. I don't work till, James, you were saying you work sometimes till 9:30. I stopped all that. You know what I mean? I haven't seen past 5 o'clock in a while. And that's a great feeling sometimes, I'm not living like the high life like I want to be. You know what I mean? Like I want to freaking go out there and get everything and make all the money. But like I'm home every night to cook dinner and be, and I'm not stressed out, I don't work any weekends anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and it's nice. Like literally, it's freaking nice. I haven't worked the weekend. I used to work every freaking weekend, months straight. And I just got tired of it, man. I'm tired of like this. When something happens to you, when life happens, it puts shit in perspective. And then you're like, what is life really about? Is it about getting? Because like that's what I did with drugs, the getting and using and finding ways it means to get more. And I feel like I do that with everything in my fucking life. Like everything. Anything I ever touch, that's what I do. I go after it hardcore until I'm a mess. And I was a mess this whole beginning of the year. Nate, I had people doing interventions on me. You know what I mean? Like, bro, listen, we can't invite you over anymore. That's not the case though. But they was like, dude, you really need to like get your shit together and become sane again. And I've been clean almost 4 years, and I'm still miserable. And it could go like that. It doesn't take, that's why like the drugs and alcohol it's just a symptom of what the real problem was. And that proved it to me, and then also friends, being a pushover, man. I'm really good at that too. I want to be a people pleaser. I love pleasing people. I want people to like me people. You know what I mean? Like, and I just can't do that anymore, man. That's a job in itself. Making people like you, everybody, and doing, everything for your friends. And I mean, just all the way around, this whole thing ties into all of it, man. I mean, we could talk about every subject the same freaking way, but it all ties back to what you allow in your life. What are you going to allow, and I've worked too hard and I've come too far to like allow certain things to give me unmanageability in my life today. And that's something I freaking hold on to, and if you're toxic, I love you from a distance, man. And that's just how I gotta be. So, and that's all I got. Tiffany, I don't know if you want to share or if you want to let them share.
Real quick. Hey, Justin, real quick. Can I just add something to that? Cause I don't want to get misconstrued. I do want to be transparent here.
Sure.
So when I said a lot of nights when it's home at 9:30, man, it's not. Don't get me wrong. There's been nights it's working till 9:30, or I have to be on the phone working. That is true. But a lot of those nights is getting off at 6 or 7, still having to make a meeting for my recovery, closing up. You know what I mean? And then finally getting home. It's 9:30, 10 o'clock. Like there's a little bit more than just work. Sometimes it's not always just work. So I just wanted to add that for clarification and because they might have some experience on that too as well. So thank you.
I wasn't, listen, James, I wasn't going on you, but I was just like, from my experience, like I'm telling you, like I used to do that though. and being home super late all the freaking time. It was always work though. It wasn't like the extra stuff that you do.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It was always work, 7 days a week till I died, you know? It just gets horrible after a while. But I'm gonna look at, we got some comments up in here. Let me just read a few of them, and then I'm gonna pass it over to Caesar real quick, and then we'll go to Nate. So we got, what's up, Jessica? And then we got Cheryl. What's up, Cheryl? Kita. What's up, Kita? Yeah, I haven't seen you in a minute. Welcome back. Carol said, I struggle with setting boundaries with myself, putting self first and saying no to others. And that's the truth. And let's see who we got. Ian. Ian says, I've been putting myself first all my life. And that's true. But there's a healthy first, putting yourself first. And then there's and then there's a not so healthy. You know what I mean? There's a selfish, and then there's selflessness, you know, putting yourself first, because self-care is freaking important. You know, I mean, there's a fine line. There is a fine line right there. Melissa, what's up, Melissa? Very good stuff. So glad I jumped on. And Scott, great stuff tonight already. James, Justin, and then Caesar and Nate gonna follow up with bombs, baby.
Nothing but bombs.
What's up, Kristen? What's up, Helen? All right, I'm going to pass it over to Caesar. And first, guys, if you would share this live video, please, it would help us so much for the support. You never know who this might help as well, but it also supports us and what we're doing here at the Hope Shop. So go ahead, Caesar, let it rip.
You know, I know Ian, and I wasn't going to share on something like that, but that's the mentality that I have all the time is, oh man, I'm selfish and self-centered. I put myself first all the time. I need to be there for everybody all the time. I need to be the best employee. I need to be captain recovery. I need to be at every event. I need to do this. It's not realistic. And that's the boundaries with self that I struggle with. I can relate to everything that both of you guys said. I have this internal voice that tells me I'm not doing enough, or that I need to work harder to prove myself. I need to suit up and show up even when I'm no good for it, because I'm exhausted, but I'm going to do it anyway because I just need to be there. And this is about boundaries, but it comes down to balance for me. Is if I'm not balancing things out, it was taught to me you can't pour from an empty cup. So if all I do is give in every aspect of my life, I come home and I've got nothing left to give to the most important people in my life, my family. I come home tired, grouchy, burnt out. All I want to do is go to sleep. And I do all this because I want to be there for them. I do all this because I want to provide for them. I do this because I want to be present in their lives, and then I'm not. So I have to tell myself on a regular basis that I'm enough. You know, like, I'm enough. It's okay. I don't have to beat everybody to work. I don't have to stay later than everybody. I go to work and I do my best to be a good employee and do the best I can to make that company money and do my job. I don't have to bring it in the front door with me when I come home. I don't have to answer emails and text at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. But I have a voice inside my head that says I do. Because what if you miss that phone call? What if you miss that? Then what are they going to think? They might fire you. You might not be that valuable. You know, and that's that inner critic that I have. I mean, it's quieter today, but it doesn't mean that it's not there. So that's something I didn't know what was going to come out of this topic when we were talking about it, but it hits home for me because I'm definitely one that doesn't like to say no. I don't want to let people down. I'll say yes to every commitment, yes to extra work, yes to this, yes to that. But who am I really cheating? I'm cheating the people that I love. I come home and I got nothing left for my own family. So that's something that I struggle with and I work on constantly. As far as it was supposed to be like family, friends, and work, I'll put friends as the recovery thing. You know, early on, other people in recovery, I thought I could save everybody. You know, I was going to show up to your house and read with you at 9:00 at night. If you were struggling, I was going to be there for you at any hour of the day. And the fact is, I was outworking the people, and I was denying them the opportunity to step up in their own life and in their own recovery, because I was doing it for them. I was doing more than they were. And it took me a little while to learn the lesson that you can't deny somebody their bottom. You can't get sober. You can't do recovery for them. And bringing people into my home with my family to crash here because, oh, you know, I got kicked out of the halfway house. It wasn't my fault. And me going, oh, yes, it probably wasn't your fault, man. Come here. You know, if I look back at it, what was I doing? It was ego. Oh, I'll save you. I'll get you sober. And it don't work that way. When you were ready, or when I was ready to do this thing, there was nothing anybody could do. That's funny. There was nothing anybody could do to stop me, because I had made my mind up that I was going to get clean and sober, and there was nothing was going to stop me. So there was no sponsor or mentor or anyone that could have messed it up. And that goes the other way around. So if I'm mentoring or sponsoring somebody, there's nothing I can do to get them sober or get them drunk or high. I'm just walking them through a process. And if I think I have the power to make them drink or to get sober, then I've completely missed this whole thing, because that none of us have that power. We wouldn't be on this podcast. We share it all the time. Everyone on here has some type of a higher power that they lean on, a power greater than themselves. And then I'm trying to do my God's job, and I'm making my God smaller and smaller when I'm trying to do his job. I need to let him do his job. My job is to show up each day and do the best I can to not repeat the mistakes of the past. And if I do that, I'm all right. So, you know, James, I appreciate the hell out of you. I know I tell you it a lot, but I'm going to tell you again, man, I love you. And just, you dig deep. You know, you went to go talk about something about somebody else, but you had just enough time to reflect and turn it around on yourself. And that's what it always is. If I'm disturbed about something, if I'm not setting the boundary, if I'm not doing this, if I'm resentful, I can always turn around and look at it. It's something in me that I've got to work on. It's not something in somebody else. And the something in me is either I need to do some more work, I need to get honest with somebody, or I need to tell somebody no. And just like Justin said, I don't like telling people no. What if they don't like me? You know, in all honesty, today, that's a lot less important to me than it was in the past. Other people's opinions of me don't matter as much today because of the way I live my life. I live my recovery out loud. I live my mistakes out loud, and I live my triumphs out loud. Nobody can say I did something that I didn't do, because it's all out there. And I live a life of integrity today. So if you don't like me, it's not because I did something horrible to you. It's just because you don't like my face or my rooftop selfies or my tonal voice or whatever it is. And that's okay. You don't have to like me. I don't have to have everybody's approval today. I have a group of people around me that I can count on. And it's a small circle. But that small circle means the world to me. I've got friends and confidants that I can speak to on a daily basis, pick up the phone, and they will be here for me no matter what. And I've never had that in my life. And I don't need that to be 1,000 people. I only need what I have. Because when the circle is small, I can truly be there for them the same way they're being there for me. If my circle was 1,000 people, how can I be there for 1,000 people? But if my circle is 10 people, I can be there and be present for 10 people and be a true friend, you know, and I can be a father to my daughters, and I can be a husband to my wife. I can do those things as long as I'm present and I'm setting the boundaries and not letting the outside influences and the crap in my head that tells me I'm not good enough. If I keep that at bay And the only way that I do that is me personally, by working a program and trying to help others as much as possible. That's the only way I get the self-esteem to hold my head up high enough to say, I don't have to outwork everybody. I don't have to be the best sponsor in the world. But self-esteem only comes from esteemable acts. So if I'm acting like a piece of shit, probably not going to have good self-esteem. So it drives me on a daily basis to try to be the best version of myself that I can every single day, which goes full circle right back around to shit, I'm going to start working too hard again. So it's a constant juggling, balancing thing. None of us are going to get it perfect. It's a moving target. We're always going to run to an extreme in one direction, but we have people that can redirect us and go, hey man, you're screwing up. You know, you're shit. Well, one of y'all should have told me for sure, because I know at least Nate and Justin call me on a daily basis, and I can't even answer the phone. I'm busy. I can't talk. I send you. I get so wrapped up in working, but I mean, people do check me and they do let me know, and in turn, I let them know when they're doing something like that. And then, you know, I don't have to wear it all. I don't have to have it all on my shoulders. I share the burden with the people around me, and it's not so heavy. So I appreciate you guys a lot.
Thanks, Caesar, man. That was a lot of good shit right there. You know, and I love that you said that about James and turning it around, because, I mean, dude, the common denominator always in anything is us. It's us. We're the problem.
Always were.
Most of the time. But, you know, and that's where the boundaries come in. And you're like, oh, if somebody else is the problem, then you have to set those boundaries with them. But most of the time,
like you said, it goes back on us, though, because I'm letting them do it. I'm letting them rent the space in my head. I'm letting them take my time and my energy.
Yep.
I'm letting it happen. James seems excited about that. But
I don't know if somebody had a touchdown. Was there a touchdown, James?
I scored a touchdown with that comment, apparently.
Yes, he scored the touchdown. Touchdown, field goal, spike. Yes, all day.
But I mean, if we can reflect on ourselves like that, we got a hell of a chance, you know, because I don't know about y'all. I didn't look at me as the problem ever. It was always somebody else's fault. You know, today we can look back and, like James did, and go, hey, man, it's me.
Exactly. Hey, here's a comment for you, man. What?
I'd like to touch on.
No, I go ahead, read the comment, but I can.
Okay. I'll read the comment real quick. And Nate looks like he has his hand up on that one, right, Nate?
Yeah.
Okay. What about romantic relationships and sobriety? I'm just now learning to set boundaries, but it's also resulting in relationships ending. I'm noticing I'm not settling anymore now that I'm sober, and not everyone can accept that. It's frustrating. Oh, this is you, Nate.
Okay. All right. So, Barbara, hang tight. I'm going to get to that in 2 seconds. I have to give a little build up, you know? So, okay, my boundaries are always, and everybody's share has been spot on. But I mean, and then like Caesar just nailed the point home. It always comes back to me. What am I doing? Like, I spent really my entire life, even before I put a substance into my body, I was insecure. My self-worth was off. I never felt like I fit in. And I always had to please people. You know, I just was always off. And then now I'm 20 plus years of, just horrible, decadent behavior, in and out of prison, hurting those I love. Just, you guys know the story. And now I get to this recovery deal, and I'm broken. I'm empty. You know what I mean? I first of all, it's not like when I get here, I feel like I'm worthy of recovery, but I'm just so desperate and broken and beaten down that I'm just ready for anything else, whatever it may be, whatever that looks like. So here I am, and I'm early in recovery, and I haven't been paid attention to, or maybe I have, but I couldn't notice it. I haven't, been able to hold a friendship, a relationship, a job, none of these things. So now, my first year of sobriety, all these things are brand new to me, being an adult, paying bills, being in any type of relationship, whether it's a friendship, an intimate relationship, whatever it may look like. I'm ready. Like, you know what I mean? Oh man, I got my weight back. I got my teeth fixed. You know what I mean? I'm ready to, mingle and hang out, and I deserve it. I got sober. I deserve these things, right? And what ends up happening is I get into these situations where I'm doing the same damn thing I did when I was out there. I'm perpetuating the same behaviors in these relationships. I'll go into these under the guise of, oh, well, I'm not ready for a relationship, but we can just hang out and be friends. And it's all bullshit. I am trying to feed something, a need, lust, what have you, and it's at the expense of another, regardless of whatever a fucking arrangement that we concocted. It's all bullshit, And what ends up happening is people are getting hurt again. I'm hurting people again, and I'm in recovery. I don't have nothing to do with drugs, nothing to do with alcohol. It's me, myself, hurting another human being. Now, what happens is, since I'm surrounded by a certain group of people, they call me out of my bullshit. They challenge me to do something better, to be better. They ask me, Nate, do you want to be looked at like this in recovery? Do you want to have the reputation of, hurting women and doing slimy shit in the rooms, And I had to take a hard look at myself. Like, I never, when I got to this point of surrender, I never wanted to feel that empty again. I was willing to do anything to never feel that depressed and sad and lonely and all those things. I just never wanted to feel that way again. And yet here I am, doing the same shit and hurting the same people. And I get that buzz, the rush. I'm talking to a bunch of different girls. Okay, yeah, I got it going on. I'm in a fucking treatment center. I get to go out to work and come back and leave for a day on the weekend or some shit. And I think I'm like, got it going on. And guess what? I really did have it going on because, a couple of years ago, I was in the streets or in prison. But, we get to this point of recovery, and there's some hard decisions that have to be made. Like, how do I want to be looked at? You know what I mean? Do I want to be that guy still? I don't know. And I made the decision that I didn't want to be that guy. So I started making changes, and we're talking about boundaries. How can I set some really difficult, like hard boundaries? Because you talk about family, I have to set some boundaries with family that are super difficult. I don't want to get into particulars, but I still struggle with it today. And then, how do I do that though? First of all, I have to figure out who the fuck I am first. Like, I have to do some really deep digging, some soul searching things to figure out who I am, what I want, and what I mean is, so I have to get honest with another man. I have to delve into this recovery process, however that looks for you. You know what I mean? I have to get honest with another, and most of all, I have to connect to something other than me. I have to get out of my own way. I posted that today on this page. I'm like, get out of your own way. I used to fucking hate that shit. People, get out of your own way. I'd be like, shut up. You know what I mean? But that little saying is so damn true, because to me, what that means, and I left it for other people to decide today when I posted it, but to me, to get out of my own way means I let go. I let my source kind of do its thing. I lean on my friends. I lean on the suggestions from this fellowship that we have. I plug in, man. I plug in and seek answers elsewhere other than in this crazy mind, because left to my own devices, I'm going to fuck some shit up. that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? And so I let go of that behavior, and I start relying on, these things that have been taught to me. I start, helping others. I start praying on a daily. I start meditating, and all of a sudden, I don't have room in my life to allow, like, for the bullshit. I'm always saying you're with the bullshit. What I'm saying is I don't have room in my life for the bullshit anymore. Like, and so I have to start establishing some boundaries. And most of all, I have to have boundaries, and of course, boundaries with others, boundaries with work, super important. I struggle with balance all the time, but like Caesar was saying, the most important balance and expectations starts with me. You know what I mean? Like, because when I think of unrealistic expectations, I think of the unrealistic expectations I place on myself. Like Justin was sharing on, this is something I struggle with. I, did my thing for however many years. So of course I'm going to feel like I've wasted time, or I have to catch up. But then I have to dig a little deeper and think, okay, well, stop it, Caesar. Stop it. Stop it. You're throwing me off, man. Oh, shit. So I have to dig a little deeper and really see, because the source that I connected to told me and tells me on a daily basis that I didn't waste any time. You know what I mean? How connected, how plugged in am I? Like, where am I at? Because I have one of the greatest freedoms and liberating moments I ever experienced in this deal was the moment I found out that not 1 minute I spent before getting sober was a waste. It was all for a divine purpose. I all that stuff that I carried with me, all that guilt, shame, regret that made me feel like I was nothing, all had a reason now, you know? So no, it wasn't a waste, Justin. You are exactly, you experience exactly what you had to be, exactly where you are today. And it's one of our greatest assets, our greatest gifts. And once I could truly embrace this, I could finally breathe. I could finally feel free. And then I could start it. And then I have to understand that, what am I striving for? What am I doing here? You know what I mean? Did I get sober to get a job, to get a car, to, get in some relationship? These are all things that I hadn't have for 2+ decades. Of course I'm going to want these things, but am I defining my happiness, my joy, my serenity on external things? Or am I attaching, let me not say attaching, that's a strong word. Am I depending on on my source, on my fellowship, on my ability to be a part of something greater than me? Like, that's what I want to focus on today, because as long as that's in order, all those other things come organically. And then guess what? And no matter what comes or doesn't come, I'm prepared to deal with it, because I am showing up in others' lives on a daily basis. I am getting on my knees every day, taking time out of my day to meditate, taking my time to connect with others and see how they're doing. Like, all these simple concepts that were bestowed in me at early on in this deal, I just continue to do them, and you continue to do them, and you start to get the results. And then I get to this point where I can finally set some boundaries. I haven't been in a relationship in over a year, and it's a choice that I made, because I felt that I truly needed to discover who I was and what I wanted, and I started to have boundaries, and I didn't want to settle for anything other than what was meant for me, And guess what? That's not my decision. That's going to be placed in my life without any effort on my part. Well, maybe some effort, but what my only effort is my diligence, my vigilance, and my consistency in my recovery program. That is my effort. As long as I keep doing that, anything that I need will be placed in front of me. And it's my ability, it's my awareness and my perception. If that's keen enough, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do on a daily basis, I'll be able to see these things. Um, I struggle with that, man. You know, and then also the boundaries. I had to set some really difficult boundaries as far as you know, my daughter was taken away right before I got about a year before I got sober, and so I was you know, fighting, trying to get to the lawyers and trying to do this and trying to do that, and I'm just hit, you know, there's base, my hands are tied, you know, and this is a boundary I have to set for myself. Like, where is my faith at? You know, how much do I really believe in this source that I talk about all the time? You know what I mean? Because if I truly do, if I truly have that faith, then I understand that these things will come to fruition in its own time, you know, and not by any of my grand designs or schemes. Just like when I was out there, you know how our ideas ended up. You know, mine, I ended up in prison or in a hospital bed, you know, or broke and destitute, you know. So yeah, for me, the boundaries I need to set today are first for myself, because guess what? Very rarely is anything external going to influence my joy today. Like, there has to be, I have to be having a really shitty day in order for somebody to disrupt my flow or my energy or whatever you want to call it. It happens, you know, and it's usually has something to do with work or I mean, even last week I was on my way to give a medallion to one of the guys I mentor, and he had a year sober, and he calls me that day and says, "Hey, I relapsed." You know what I mean? And you know, now I'm like thinking, what did I do? You know, what did I do wrong? What, you know? And then a few months ago, I had another sponsee die on me, man. You know, and it makes me, my natural reaction is, what did I do? You know, and but there goes another boundary that I have to set, realizing, and Caesar, man, beautiful fucking point you made. You know, if it is not up to me whether these guys do what my sole responsibility is to give them, you know, the kind of the suggestions that I was given, and also provide them with a kind of a roadmap on how to get to a solution. And after that, that's on them, man, how much they want to do and the effort they want to make. But yeah, I have to set boundaries with that too. You know, like and those are difficult boundaries because you know, I'm a giver, just like Caesar said. You know, I like to give, I like to be there, but guess what, man? If I'm not taking care of my business, I have no business in anybody else's life. So yeah, man, boundaries are super important in my life today. I wanted to, like, for example, and this is just an example of my spiritual condition today. I was talking to James after our breakfast this morning. We were discussing, you know, I seen this like nice flashy Mercedes that I wanted. It's like 22, good deal. And I'm like, man, I need to go get this car, man. I need a personal vehicle along with my work truck and my other VW. Like, you know, just the madness. And I'm like, but I decided against it. But anyway, James and I are talking, and he's like, well, how much money do you have? And I just all of a sudden I just said $10,000, you know, because guess what? I'm still, I still struggle. I have some deep rooted self-worth issues that makes me feel like if I don't have a certain amount of money, or if I don't have a certain vehicle, that I'm a certain person. You know what I mean? So, and but the way my body and my spirit works today, I had to message James like, you know, 30 minutes later, say, bro, I fucking lied to you. I'm sorry, bro. I do not have that much money. This is how much money I have. I am not, you know, I felt like, you know, and that's the boundaries I need to set in my own life, where I can immediately feel a certain way when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And that to me is the ultimate growth, when I can check myself, because, you know, my friends will check me, but I have to be on point too. And yeah, I'm kind of ranting, but I just wanted to, you know, express my gratitude. And for James, for throwing this this event and involving us, man. I think it's a brilliant deal. Caesar, I missed you over the weekend, bro. I hope you had a beautiful time. And Tiffany and Justin, I love you guys. All right, I'm done.
Love you too, Nate. That was all good shit, man. It's good stuff, man. This is what this is what I love about our little thing we do on lives, man. It's like we all have these little different scenarios that we all bring to the table, and it just like it brings different points on every end, and Nate, keeping up with the Joneses is very, very tiring. Okay.
I know, man.
And you're right, man, and that's so true. It's like all that crap that I went through, it was for a point, but I still feel like I lost time. So like, I'm not like, this was me trying to catch up, this year has put shit in perspective. And that's why like life is good right now, man. And it's good because like, I'm just being simple, man. Sometimes simple is the easiest solution to life. Is just keep it fucking simple.
Yeah, and Justin, isn't it like, okay, from an objective outsider looking in with your situation, isn't it crazy how whatever you want to call it, God, the universe, the source, whatever, works? He or she or it, whatever it may be,
Or
said,
them.
here's a situation in your life. What are you going to do about it? And what has it done? It has brought everybody closer together. It has made you and Tiffany even closer. It has made your family closer. It's brought you new people into your life. And this is when you weren't that connected to that source. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but just because you're seeking it and you're trying something different, it's just crazy how to see something, how this thing works. And this comes from an agnostic, non-believing guy, man. You know what I mean? And I see it, these miracles happening on a daily basis. And guess what? The miracles aren't always going to come dressed up nice and pretty. You know what I mean? They're going to come ugly and nasty and scary. And but man, if it's not a miracle, then I don't know what is.
No, it definitely is. It's definitely.
Yep. Go ahead.
Go ahead, James.
Okay. Hey, Nate, would it be okay if I touched on that subject we were touching about at the end?
Hey, James.
What line situation? Okay. So, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say let Tiffany to share a little bit too.
That, yeah.
But we're gonna let you touch on, and then she can go.
It will be 2 minutes. I'm sorry. I just want to hit it while it's fresh. So Nate had told me, James, I'm sorry I lied to you. If we're going to talk about healthy boundaries, how about this for a healthy boundary? When somebody has the willingness to be vulnerable and say, hey, man, I lied, or whatever that looks like, how about we treat them with a little bit of dignity and respect? And like the answer, like you don't downgrade somebody here. Like the key word in this thing is healthy. And like when he said those things, what I say, man, I said, man, what you have, his number X, Y, and Z, man, that is awesome. I said, do you realize that people don't have that saved up right now? Do you understand how much you're winning? Keep winning, man. And I'm here for you to help. Like a healthy boundary needs to be a two-sided street. It's not just what I'm willing to accept, but it's also what I'm willing to put out. And that's why I wanted to touch on that for a little bit. I think people need to understand it's double sorted. Thank you. Go ahead, Tiff. Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, that was. I'm glad you shared that, dude. It is double sorted. But yeah. Hey, babe.
Hey, guys. So in all honesty, it's cool to hear everybody share because it's a little. I got a lot of good nuggets as we talk about, right? Like Caesar, one thing that you said really stuck with me because I actually suffered, I suffered with trying to figure out when I was younger, self-esteem. I'm like, everybody talks about you just need to have good self-esteem and have high self. How the hell do you get self-esteem? And then what you just said, I was like, wow, it starts the esteemable acts. Well, that would seem simple and easy to understand, but you don't know it until you hear it like that. Wow, that's so cool. So I look forward to honestly using that in the future because that, like, for me, And there was a couple other things. And I struggle with healthy boundaries. Honestly, a lot of it has to do with, no, really. And this is a different perspective. I mean, with motherhood and parenting and having healthy boundaries for myself and for my children, between work, friends, and home life, because of course, as a mother, cleaning the house and keeping up with all the different responsibilities that you got to do every day, every week, every second week, every third week, every month, it's so much, and then on top of that, making sure I'm staying on top of and with my kids and the different things that they're going through every day. And having healthy boundaries in all honesty, I can say work for me personally isn't a problem. My husband makes that possible for me. Work is pretty simple for me to take care of every day, thank God.
It's that simplifying stuff that helps. You know what I mean?
But the parenting is where I really do struggle, because you see, I find myself, I'll find myself in a really good rhythm, right? Where like I'm cleaning, I'm doing everything. My household duties, I'm doing really well. My parenting duties, I'm doing really well. I feel like I'm doing really well in my friendships and my relationships with my family. I feel like I'll have like this really good rhythm. And then all of a sudden that week will come where like, I don't feel good. I'm tired. I am grouchy. I am biting everybody's heads off and everything goes to crap. And then it's hard to like hop back on that train of like the rhythm, right? And, I find myself struggling as far as, and the key word truly does come down to, like you said, and it's that ongoing wave of balance, right? You've got to find the balance between, and Justin, when he first got into recovery, he would always talk about these buckets. And at first I thought I was silly, but like it sticks in my head now to this day. It's like, what bucket are we filling, And like a lot of times I find myself filling my bucket as far as allowing myself to be a little lazy and a little, I fall off the train because I don't feel good. So I get to be lazy, right? And then instead of letting myself do that for, say, a few hours that afternoon or evening, I'll let it go into the next day and then the next day. It's like those healthy boundaries as far as being lazy, healthy boundaries with myself as far as what we're just talking about. So I'm really good I love listening to my friends and people talk to me about what they got going on. And I'm really good at, okay, let's talk about the underlying thing. How can we look within on this? Cause I'm, like you said, it always comes back to ourselves. Right. And, so I'm really good at that. But then when it flip it around to my kids, I find myself not having that same empathy and understanding and love and compassion that I do with my friends. And like, it boggles my mind. And then I go through the guilt trip, and then I go through man, what am I doing wrong? And, then like my kids, I'll start filling one bucket of my child, and then I'll realize, oh man, my other kid is acting up because I'm filling her bucket instead of his bucket. And so then I got to start filling his bucket. And then I realize I'm not filling her bucket. And again, that balance thing, right? And then, and then again with the rhythm, like I'll think I have everything in rhythm. Everybody's going good. We got everything is going great. And then my kid is acting up all of a sudden. And I'm like, oh, what am I doing wrong as a parent? Instead of, like you said, that was another great thing that you said, Caesar. It's not about me and what I'm doing as a parent. It's why am I making God so small? Number one, I need to invite him into these moments. Like that clicked in my head when you said that tonight. And number two, my children are human beings just trying to figure out everything around them. And it's not anything that, I can give them the roadmap. That's what God entrusts them to us for. However, I can't control them and make them be and do anything, and I got to get that out of my head. And I struggle with that boundary with myself as well, because it's like they're human beings that just need love and compassion, and let them figure it out. Right. And, those are the different boundaries that I have to, I got some great nuggets here tonight. They helped me out a lot. So.
Do I get a bucket?
Yes.
I'm going to kick your bucket over. Listen,
bucket.
I like what you said, Tiffany, because it's like we'll go throughout the day and it's patience, tolerance, and kindness for all. And then I get in my own house and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, get it together. Like, did I leave my principles at the front door before I walked in?
Right.
And this is the place that they should be practiced the most. And it's usually the one that it's lacking the most in for me. Like it's the opposite. And I'm aware of it and I work on it all the time. But I mean, like what you said is great. And then we start juggling it and going, oh, I'm failing over here. Let me super focus on this. And then I forgot all about these other buckets behind me because I was so focused on this one. And like you said, things will be going smooth, but it's never, ever, ever going to stay smooth. It just isn't. You can only juggle for so long, until your arms get tired, you drop a ball. And I think that's the whole point is if we could keep juggling constantly, then we wouldn't need the people and we wouldn't need the God in our life. We'd do it ourselves.
The realistic expectations.
Yeah, it's set in there on purpose that we have to drop a ball every once in a while so we can rely on something else other than ourselves.
Caesar, real quick.
Wait, real quick. Wait. Let me explain the bucket deal real quick.
Tell me about your buckets.
Okay. And listen, I was so about this, and it made perfect sense, and it still makes sense today. It's like we only have so much focus in one day. We only have so many things that we can focus on, and we have all, like, how many buckets do you have in your life? How many buckets do you have for that day? It's like, what do you have to fill? What do you have to fill? You got to fill all these things, and when you add more of them, you're freaking lacking on all of them. You know what I mean? So like, that's what I mean by the focus. It was the buckets. I do drywall, so buckets are very prevalent in my life, and I use buckets as a metaphor or whatever. But those buckets, kids, work, family, friends, everything we talked about tonight, man. Self-care. Yeah, there's a bucket in there for that too. And it's like we have to fill up in even portions. If not, one's overfilling and the other one's lacking, and that's where we get in trouble. That's the balance of life. You know what I mean? That's where the buckets come in. Okay.
Hi, Shannon. Hi, Jamie.
So what I was going to say real quick, Caesar, like I think that's a really big struggle for a lot of people, is forgetting the principles when we come to our door. And we were actually talking about this over in Orlando last month, and a guy had suggested to us that because I said I suffer from the same thing where sometimes I come with the attitude, right? He suggested when you get home, park in your driveway for 5 minutes and write a mini journal. He said, because many times I want to come home and tell my wife all my problems, and she's not my dumpster. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I can relieve my stress before there, now I'm more focused on, babe, how was your day? You know what I mean? Versus trying to spew out how mine was. And so I thought, man, when he said that, I was like, man, what a really good idea.
You mean vomit, right?
I don't like to write, so I'm just going to call one of you guys when I pull up and vomit on you.
And that's okay, Caesar.
Caesar, just put it in your calendar.
No.
Yeah, that was the one thing too that you guys brought up, and that is so true. Is that the few people that are in our circle? That's what I mean. We have to lean on them, and thank God you guys are all in our circle, because like the realistic expectations, my people, like I'll be explaining my struggles, and they're like, "Yo, girl, slow yourself down." Like they call me out on my shit. They're like, "Dude, you're being unrealistic. Like you're not God." And I'm like, "Oh, so yeah."
Well, I think that's there was a lot of good stuff tonight, man, and I really enjoyed this one, man. So I thank you guys for being here and coming on tonight. I thank all of you guys for watching us, and hopefully somebody got something out of this tonight, man. They can use it and practice it in your life. Maybe it's something to do with you that you need to look at and make sure you set healthy boundaries with people, because we're the only ones going to be pissed off in the long run. You know what I mean? And to this Wednesday, we're going to have the new Addiction to Success. We're going to have it back. And it starts at 8 p.m. this Wednesday right here on the Hope Shot. So we hope you guys come and join us. And thank you guys so much for being here. We love you guys. Good night. And we'll see you Wednesday.
See you Wednesday. Good night, everybody.
All right.